Hey friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is that you find yourself watching this. Hope you're doing well. Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. There is a big sale happening right now. A pretty big one. I'll have it linked in the description below in case you want to check it out after the video. There is a lot to go over though, and I'm going to cover today 10 different fragrances that you can scoop up for insane deals as part of this sale, and also just the all-encompassing sale itself. You know, gotta give you the details. So like I said, the sale, I said the sale was linked below. I keep forgetting the update. It's not linked below, it's linked in the description. Find the description. It's in there. I'll also have links to the fragrances that I talk about here today, as well as that sale. So I guess first thing I'll do is just run through like the details of the sale really quickly so you know what that's about. That way you have all that information at your fingertips. Because they say, knowledge is power. Something like that. Or no, like those things they used to have on the TV way back in the day, the more you know, with the little star. So this sale has already started, actually today, June 28th. Started an hour ago, I think it was, and it runs through the 1st. So that is July 1st at midnight. So it's a 72-hour sale is what's going on. This is a Canada Day sale at Fragrance Spy, and they have a number of different things going on. The first 750 people that place an order, at least from like the start point of the sale, as I understand it, get some freebies, and those freebies can be from a range of just random stuff that gets automatically added to your order. So it includes things like Initio Parfums candles, which honestly, that sounds pretty cool. Like, if you want to send me some of those. Parfums Marley shower gels and lotions, Lataffa body sprays, and some Xerjoff goodies as well. So just basically a big smorgasbord of randomosity that can be added into your order. That's the first 750. And then after that, I think the next 2,000 orders get free samples added in, free fragrance samples. And there are also codes associated that you need to know about. CAD157 is the first code that will get you 10% off site-wide. And then if you are an O collector or O addict, then you got an email with a different code in there that you could use as well. That's part of their loyalty program thing. But wait, that's not all. There's also another code. It's 157SHIP, 157SHIP, and that will get you free shipping. That's for any order over 157 Canadian, which is like $12 US. Now I'm just playing with you guys. It's like around 115-ish, you know, it depends. And you can stack those codes together. So you can get the free shipping with the 10% off. That's pretty nice. So that is the sale. That's what's going on. Let's go ahead and talk about the fragrances that I have chosen. These ones are marked off even more than usual. And on top of the mark off, you can put the codes with them, and then they cost even less. That's a pretty good deal. So we're gonna start it off with this. Mustache Eau de Parfum from Rokas. You can get this as a tester, but it does come with the cap. 125 ml size for about 27 bucks. This is a door crasher on the website, and that is before the codes. So you can juice it a little more and bring that price down a little bit more. Ooh, and that's a great deal. It's unfortunate for people like myself who bought it back when it was in the throes of its hype, because it was much more pricey back then. You had those price gougers trying to scalp people on eBay selling bottles for $80, $90, $100+ because this was very difficult to find for a minute there. And now you can get it for like 25 bucks. Sick. Mustache is a fragrance that's quite similar to Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo in the way that it comes across. The quality is fantastic, presentation is great, really heavy, looks classy. It's warm, it's sexy, it's got a magnetic feel to it, just like Tuxedo, but it still functions on its own as a very solid scent. This is not just like a throwaway, oh, it's a Tuxedo clone, you know, kind of thing. No, this stands well on its own. If you like benzoin vanilla goodness, you have got to check this out. There's a reason that this was and is a hype beast, and for that price, it is an insane deal. After that, we have L Immortal, and this pretty much same price as that right there. And this is another one that has been off and on difficult to find. Actually, there have been times where I have looked this fragrance up and it's been sold out at all the discounters, and the only place I see it is eBay. And again, people are asking just stupid prices. Just absolutely goofy, absurd, ridiculous prices. Like, oh, you want that Jean Lo clone fragrance? Yeah, that'll be $100. Now, thankfully, that has calmed down and you can find this more easily for a good price. But this price is even better because it's right around $25. So again, to reiterate this, I talk about this on the channel from time to time where I tell people like, look, do not overpay for this. I want this to be an example, once again, these two, okay? At points in the past, both of these fragrances had people asking $100+ for them. You can get both of these now for like a quarter of that. So when I tell you guys, don't overpay for this one if it shows sold out, that's why. It will eventually come back into stock. The price will regulate to where it should be, unless it's discontinued. That's a different thing. But this is a top-notch clone fragrance. Obviously, you can tell by looking at it, that is a Louis Vuitton clone, and it's a clone or alternative or inspired by whatever vernacular you like to say of Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité. And a darn good one. This one is actually a fantastically done alternative. And it works great this time of year too, at least if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. That citrus that's in here is very rich. It's got a nice freshness to it, but sweet at the same time. Then of course you've got that ginger off the top mixing with the citrus, gives it a very lively open, and as it dries down you have amber and ambroxan in there as well. So a great release, and if you've been waiting to pick this one up when it's at a really good price, now is probably the best time. Next one, kind of random, but it works really well for this time of year. Summer Vibes, or Light Blue Summer Vibes from Dolce & Gabbana. The presentation on this I think is beautiful. The bottle, really pleasant, very aesthetically pleasing. This one you can pick up for a tick over $40. That's for the full presentation, 125 ml size. Again, perfect summertime fragrance. It's got summer in the name. And this one throws it back to smelling more similar to the original Light Blue and Light Blue Eau Intense. So if you didn't like Forever or Italian Love, which I like both of those a bunch, but if that wasn't your style and the OG and Eau Intense are, this is gonna be right up your alley. You know, it has a little more of that aromatic tinge to it, along with, of course, the fresh aquatic kind of feel that you would expect from a Light Blue fragrance. And I gotta say, once again, with Dolce & Gabbana, Light Blue, where's the new one at? Are we getting one this year? It's not looking like it. So maybe Summer Vibes is 2023 and 2024's Light Blue flanker. Yay. Because think about it this way, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that there was a Light Blue flanker in 2012. I think it skipped 13. And then from 14 all the way up to 2023, 2014 through 2023, there was a flanker every single year of Light Blue. And look, I'm not saying that there's not gonna be one this year. There absolutely could, but as of when I'm filming this, you know, end of June, there's not even been one announced. So if you're trying to release it in time for summer, you might wanna get on that. That's all I'm saying. So Summer Vibes, really good deal on that one. And I actually like Summer Vibes a pretty good amount. It is not anything that's like drastically new as far as what the Light Blue line has done before. Again, it's got similarities to the original and Eau Intense, but still smells good. Now this next one is sick. It is Boss Bottled Elixir. Again, just a tick over 40 bucks. It is the 50 ml size, not the 100, which is the size that I own, actually. But Boss Bottled Elixir is just absolutely killer. I love this fragrance. It has that strong, masculine, woody, spicy character to it. It has, you know, a little bit kind of like Sauvage Elixir, as I've said before, of that throwback style, that throwback masculine style, but done in a modern way. You know, it doesn't come across smelling dated. It's an attention grabber. The performance is good. The quality is good. Boss Bottled Elixir is a fantastic release. I think it's worth it at full retail. But if you come up to me and you tell me you can get this for like 40 bucks and change, all day. It is more of a fall wintertime fragrance, so you know, keep that in mind. But summer's gonna be over before you know it, and that will crush it when it's cold out. Next one is kind of a random one. Bond number 9, New Harlem. Yeah, New Harlem. Now, you go back in time, this was hyped pretty heavily. Everybody wanted this stuff. And then it didn't get discontinued, but it became really hard to find for a while. Like a while. To the point, actually, that most people thought it just was discontinued. You know, you really could not find the stuff. And then, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, whoop, it came back. And Bond number 9 has actually done that kind of thing a few times, where they've had a fragrance become impossible to locate, whether on their website or retailers or discounters, for legitimately years, and then it comes back. So this one is 100 ml, full presentation. After the discount and everything, it's like 130, I think, right around there. And this one, in case you've never smelled it, gets compared to the smell of breakfast. Yeah, which the smell, when I say breakfast, more reminiscent of like maple syrup and pancakes to an extent, which don't knock it unless you tried it, okay? It smells good. Because some people might eat Fruity Pebbles for breakfast. Other people might eat toast. Some people might eat, I don't know, a slab of beef. It's just depending on the person. So New Harlem, big Bond number 9 hype beast for a good price right there. Let's keep it moving. Let's go with another hype beast, another niche hype beast. Intense Red Tobacco from Mancera. And of course, you knew this one was gonna be good because the cap is magnetic. Automatically makes it good. To be fair, this one also has a magnetic cap right here. But look, oof, come on now. That's not a great magnetic cap. This one, look, oof, nice. Gotta have enough power to be able to pick it up by the cap. Otherwise, that's a weak magnet. This one, I'm just gonna tell you guys, you should scoop up. For the price point that this one is at, it's pretty sick. So the price before any of the codes or anything, right about 85 bucks. Again, conversion rate changes. It could go up a little, down a little, but right about there. So, you know, you go ahead and do some mathematical wizardry, it's below 80 bones. Intense Red Tobacco smells fantastic. If you're a big fan of the original Red Tobacco, you gotta get this stuff. It has the performance like you would expect from a Mancera extrait de parfum. Are you kidding? And it actually has more smoothness, more richness, especially off the top. The original Red Tobacco can be a bit aggressive when you first spray that on. A lot of people don't really dig that. They don't jive with it. Then as it dries down, it gets a lot easier to wear, a lot better for most people because it becomes just this compliment monster. But that opening, sometimes you gotta suffer a little bit. With this one, not so much. We got another hype monster after that one. Stronger With You Intensely, and actually Stronger With You Intensely, more expensive than the Mancera. Now, I'm not trying to say anything here about this being better than that being better than this, whatever. What I am saying is you get 20 more milliliters of the Mancera, and it's, I think, like $15 less than the Stronger With You. But Stronger With You Intensely, that is one of the most popular in the Stronger With You line, which is a line that so many of you and myself love. Big, big, big compliment puller, great performance. It's got that gourmand aspect to it, that glazed chestnut going on, just smells killer, another fall and winter banger. And so that one gonna run you about 100 bones, and then you do some wizardry, some mathematics, some equations. What's 10% of 100? I can't figure it out. Yeah, about 90 bucks. All right, time for a fragrance that has seen some price correction, which is something that I like. Price correction, everyone, woo! Yeah, woo! Club de Nuit, private key to my drizzles. Private key to my dreams. So if you guys remember the Club de Nuit private fragrances, there were 4 of those that launched. This is the one that more people seemed to gravitate toward. This is the one that was the more popular release of the 4. And when they first launched, they were decently pricey for an Armoff. If I recall correctly, you know, around 80 bucks or something. And some stores were asking more than that when they first launched, trying to, like, you know, get people who are impatient to spend a little more money to get it faster. And the idea behind the private key fragrances, for the most part, was that Armoff was teaming up with decently well-known perfumers and doing fragrances that were not necessarily clones, but were their own releases, right? So they were doing fragrances that were their own, basically. So they could go, look at us, we did this one, and it does not smell like anything exactly, so go us. So this one, 49 bucks, give or take a little bit up or down. Again, we talked about that. CAD to USD, but around there. And after the discounts and everything, you're looking at about like 45 bucks on this, which this one has pretty good performance. It's got apple in there. It has pineapple, a little pepper, lavender, vanilla, patchouli, leather, a number of different things going on as far as the note breakdown goes. It's nearly a year-round kind of fragrance. It's got a lot of versatility. It's very usable. The quality is nice. The presentation is good. Another magnetic cap, and the box and everything is good as well. I think middle of summer, I'd probably go something else just because it does have that performance. You know, it's pretty strong and has a decent amount of sweetness to it. It caught a good amount of blowback when it first came out, but I think the main reason for that is because, first off, the pricing, you know, being more expensive than most all other Armoffs at the point that this came out. And then also just kind of a little confusion about what was going on there, because, you know, it's the private key fragrances, right? But then they put Club de Nuit, and then on the box they put Club de Nuit a couple times as well. So it's like Club de Nuit everywhere, but then is it really a Club de Nuit? Like, kind of, I guess, but not really, but sort of. So there was just this confusion of like, well, are they clones? Are they originals? Why are they more expensive? Why is it Club de Nuit everywhere when it doesn't look like Club de Nuit? Like, what's the deal? But now that the pricing is coming down a little bit, it becomes easier to stomach and easier to wrap your head around. And so I think that these fragrances, as they do get more affordable, are gonna have more people come around to them. And it is actually really well done for that price point, the lower price point. Throw it back a little bit. Polo Red from Ralph Lauren. You can get a 125 ml size of that on the cheap. How much is on the cheap? Well, 125 mils for about 30 bucks. So yeah, I think it's pretty cheap. Now that is a tester, but very importantly, it comes with a cap. And you're gonna want this Ralph Lauren cap because it is actually just really flimsy plastic and super cheap feeling, but it completes the look. Nice. Polo Red has been a fragrance that I've actually always liked more than Polo Blue if we're talking about the original Eau de Toilette. Polo Blue has some really nice flankers. Polo Red does also. But if we're throwing it back to just the original Polo Red and the original Polo Blue, I like red more. Cranberry, a little citrus, some coffee in there, amber as well. There were some flankers that came out after the fact that highlighted the coffee more or the cranberry more. And I actually enjoy those flankers a little bit more than the original, but they're discontinued. That would be intense and extreme. Rough. But with the OG Polo Red, they keep those notes a little more in balance. You know, they don't have one ramped up way higher than the other necessarily. And this is still a really easy-going, wearable, year-round fragrance, daytime or nighttime. And for that price point, it is a certified cheapie. But it is not as cheap as the last one, this one. Guess Seductive Red. It is a tester, a 100 ml tester, but it is about 10 bucks. When you are getting down that low in price, that's almost free. $10 is gonna be like, what? The cost of one bottle of Axe, maybe two, I don't know. Not much, not much. Yeah, very, very inexpensive. So this one has a very nice atomizer, actually. Pretty good. It's not quite like a pressurized atomizer, but it is surprisingly better than a lot of much more expensive fragrances out there. Interestingly enough, I spoke to somebody a little while back, or actually, I said a little while back, it's been a while, who worked on this fragrance. And they told me that the atomizer for it is actually really cheap, but it just works really well. It was one of those deals where it's like, well, why don't some of these other brands kind of figure that out? Not these necessarily, but you guys know there are some fragrance brands out there where the atomizers are just absolutely terrible. So that actually has some similarities to Hugo Boss Bottled. Not Boss Bottled Elixir, the original Boss Bottled, the one that hits you with, you know, the apple and cinnamon, that kind of warm, cozy, but still compliment pulling bottled number 6. And while this one technically does not have apple as one of the notes, I believe, it does have lemon zest, it's got kumquat, it has fig, and those kind of like substitute for the apple with the cinnamon comes off in a very similar way to Boss Bottled. Then as it dries down, a touch of woodiness, vanilla, amber, just an easy wearing fragrance that for about 10 bucks again, you could just toss that in there and gift it to somebody else or keep it for yourself. It's actually surprisingly good for that. So there we go, guys. There are some deals on wheels. Some of these fragrances I think are just priced at a price point that you gotta scoop it up before it goes away if you've been looking for them. The Intense Red Tobacco, Boss Bottled Elixir, these two boys over here especially. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me. Again, in the description, you can find all the links to the sale, and those codes are right here once again. Stay safe out there, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.